Good afternoon, PMAPers, guests, friends. Welcome to our pre-RC20. Our pre-RC20, that's it. In a few minutes, we'll be officially starting our webinar. Stand by. Mayong hapon once again, PMAPers, guests, friends. Welcome to our pre-RC20 webinar, Pushing Reset. The question is, are you ready for the next normal? Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has fundamentally changed the ability for people to work normally and companies to operate effectively and markets to function efficiently, while companies in different geographies are impacted at different times and industries in different ways. A set of common characteristics and effective responses has emerged. In this webinar, we will cover what companies are focusing on in response to human capital, implications of COVID-19 for their employees and on their businesses to restore stability and eventually operate in a post-crisis world. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, Rafael Nar. A friendly reminder to all of you, kindly put your microphones on mute and videos on mute as well. Make sure that both audio and videos are disabled. And for the chat box later on, use chat for messaging. Click raise hand if you want to ask a question live. And for the Q&A, just type in your answer via chat box. And of course, the important thing is listen and learn. Now let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord as we pray. Prayer po. This webinar has been made possible with the support of our partners since day one of this e-learning platform, IntelliCare. Let's watch their video.
The challenges of life demand that we measure up. And that's a fact IntelliCare understands and takes seriously. IntelliCare understands that the cycle of healthcare begins when you're healthy. Because we see the big picture and approach healthcare holistically, we make it possible for you to stay well, prevent illness, or catch it early on. It assures you that when you do need it, professional medical care and treatment will be available. So you can take comfort in the fact that we're managing the resources and cost of quality healthcare. Technology makes it possible for us to serve a wider base of customers online, day and night, so that we can focus on improving the numbers that really matter to us. The numbers that track your health, that drive down the cost of quality healthcare, that show you're in the best of health, so that you can strike a healthy balance in life. A balance that's critical and necessary for a life well lived, something we recognize and fully understand.
We are the leader in healthcare management because of a delicate balance we've achieved through the years. We're grounded on our core value of compassion, yet daring enough to make groundbreaking changes. We take pride in the tradition of excellence, yet always open to innovation. We're anchored in our commitment to the Filipino people, yet unfettered as we reach out to serve them better. And why do we do this? Because we believe that good, quality healthcare isn't something one simply aspires for. It is a constitutional right as inalienable as any other basic human right.
IntelliCare, your intelligent health choice.
Thank you so much, IntelliCare. I hope you were all able to capture all our social media accounts. We are now present in Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. So don't forget to like and follow PMAP Cebu on these social media accounts and make it a habit to visit our PMAP website, that is www.pmapcebu.com, where you can view recordings of past webinars and see updates of the latest labor advisories and coming events. Okay, let's have some fun. Get ready with your mouth, get ready with your cell phones, and go to go to menti.com. I almost said mentos.com, but anyway, let's go to menti.com. I guess most of us are familiar with Mentimeter, okay? Now, what's the next instruction for menti.com? Okay, you enter the code 621106, okay? That's 621106, and then get ready to answer the questions. And question number 1 goes, give your company a shout out. Oh, we have IntelliCare, King Properties, InnoData. Okay, the largest font is the highest number of attendees. Okay, we've got InnoData in the middle. Keep on coming, guys. Come on. Tayo Yode, Basta Hotdog. Good job, Virginia Food. Okay, IntelliCare is the highest pointer right now. Come on, guys. Keep on coming. Well, who knows? Yeah, who knows? IntelliCare owns Zoom. Okay, we have Tayo. Demand Science. Odimars. Okay, the top 2 are IntelliCare and InnoData for now. Okay, Tayo Yudin is coping up. Primary Group of Builders, they're also here. Okay, we have 45, yeah, 45 attendees versus 78. Okay. Okay, we have about 47. Keep on coming, guys. Okay. Come on, let's hit 50. Come on. We can do it. Getting close. Aboitiz Power Corporation is also here. Hi, guys. Human Alchemy. Oh, Wills Towers. Okay, that's it. Well, you could all see who are the uh top players here. Okay. Welcome, guys. All right. Next question. What is your preferred time of the day for the regional conference? Morning, 8 to 12, or afternoon, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m.? Come on. Who wants to prepare your coffee? You want to have the PMAP RC conference while you're preparing your breakfast? Or during your unholy hour from 1 to 5 p.m.? Okay, we have 36 for afternoon and 17 in the morning. Oh, majority loves the afternoon session, huh? This is good to know. Out of 61, 42 loves to have it in the afternoon, while the rest, yeah, good enough. Let's go to the next question. We're waiting for players right now. And and we do have winners. Yeah, it's like a contest, but the only prize that we could give you is your bragging right. When is the schedule of the upcoming PMAP Cebu Regional Conference? October 14 to 16, October 21 to 23, or October 28 to 30? Choose your answer right now. Do it. Oh, time is okay. Very good. You've been monitoring our PMAP Facebook. That's good. Next question. Answer fast to get more points. How many speakers do we have today? 1, 2, 3. And your answer is time's up. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. We have 2 speakers for today. Okay, what's next? Oh, it's a close fight. We have we have Lolo. Lolo is the fastest, followed by Neth, then Ronald. Yeah. Okay. That's a good game. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh, do we have a last question? What is the company name of our main speaker for today? Towers Watson, Willis Towers, or Willis Towers Watson? Come on. Put on your answers. Time's up. Perfect. Willis Towers Watson. Okay. Thank you. That's the last question. Oh, still Lolo, Neth, and AB, they really have fast fingers, you know? Okay, Lolo is top one. Congratulations, Lolo. 2,973 points. Thank you, guys. Thank you for engaging with us. Okay, we'd like to invite everyone to be a part of PMAP Idol. Are you ready for the next big star? That's 2020 PMAP Cebu Singing Idol Competition. Okay, so registration is only up to August 1, 2020. And there's also an audition. Come on, this is a real thing, no? August 6th and August 7th. But this is for free. We're gonna have more fun while having COVID. Just make sure that you don't wear mask now while doing this activity, okay? We want to hear your voice and we want to see your face. Okay, just this will be posted on our Facebook page, and get more updates about 2020 PMAP Cebu Singing Idol competition. And for sure, you'll get a prize, not only the bragging rights. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to introduce our first speaker for today. I think this person does not need a long introduction because he's been here. He's been supporting RC20 since I was small, since 1998. Anyway, let me introduce to you our events director, Sir Juvenir Bataycan. Guys, if I could see you, a round of applause.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sir Ray. Thank you, Mr. DJ. And by the way, 1998, there was still no RC yet. But anyway, that's you have the microphone earlier, so I could probably rebut that. So I would like us to again. I would like first of all, I would like to thank you for joining us this afternoon. Can you hear me loud and clear? May I just can you
Yeah,
open the
very
chat
clear.
box, please? And yeah, say yes if you are. Just to make sure you're awake, can you please go to the chat box and say hi or good afternoon and any greeting that you can? There are, gestures. Yes, thank you so much. The first one is from Efren, Christina. Hi, from Intellicare. I'm sorry, from Innodata. Thank you. Yan. So welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank Ms. Ging Igual and of course our speaker, Patrick Merkina of Willis Towers Watson for accepting our invitation to be our first in a series of learning sessions as we near RC20. That's going to be on October 21 and 23. Now, my role for today, everyone, thank you. Thank you very much. Nice to know that you're all up and about. My role for today is just to invite you to the regional conference. And to do that, I would like to give you 10 reasons why you should join RC10. I could give you 100, but for this afternoon, I'll give you 10. Okay, so here we go. 10 reasons to join RC20, which also happens to be the third Visayas Summit. So, reason number one, and this is going to be, quite important for us. The first reason why is this. Reason number one is you will be part of virtual history because this is the very first regional conference that we're going to go full virtual. So everybody is going to be in your respective places or wherever you are, and you'll be part of this history. And as we all know, a lot of things are happening or changing, but even though we're going virtual, we'll try to make it as seamless as possible. So as much as possible, you will not notice you're actually attending a virtual conference unless there's, of course, brownout. But hopefully, not for long, because again, your power should be back to, and then let's go to reason number two. Reason number two is that you will be hooked on the topics. The topics, by the way, are well thought of. And here's the thing: 2 or 3 of those topics may even change as we near the regional conference because we want our topics to be very, very practical, very applicable, and very relevant. Because as we all know, things are happening so fast, especially COVID-19 around. So again, there's fluidity, a lot of adjustments, and this is what's wonderful about the virtual conference. There's so much flexibility in what we're about to do. Topic number 3, of course, is that we're going to listen for the very, very best speakers. Virtual as they are, we have handpicked our speakers, and we'll make sure that they will be very have a great time learning as well from the top founders of the industry, and of course, Philippines, but outside of the Philippines as well. Number 4. We're not about to be engaged again, but for those of you who are single, this may be the chance. But seriously, a lot of our activities are very engaging. We will have virtual workshops. We'll be using heavily our breakout rooms, and we'll make sure that you will not have any boring time while you attend the regional conference. Reason number 5. Reason number 5 is we're going to expand the learning circle. So instead of just us gathering in Cebu physically on October 21 to 23, we are going to expand. So you can actually invite your colleagues from outside of Cebu or from anywhere in the world for that matter to join the regional conference. That way they will have a better understanding of how we operate in the Philippines, especially when it comes to people management. That's reason number 5. Reason number 6, and I think you'll love this. Reason number 6 is this. You will have chances to win virtual raffle prizes. So wherever you are in the world, we will send your prizes. So we'll make sure that we also have fluidity when it comes to the prizes. For example, if IntelliCare, and this is not yet confirmed, and hopefully Sarchita is listening, and everybody in IntelliCare, they might give away another LED. Well, if they do, we'll give you the remote control. So you can control the TV wherever you are, but the TV stays at IntelliCare. Anyway, a lot of great prizes for you in store. And number 7, even though it's a virtual conference, we are going to give away your own RC20 and the Visayas Summit tote bag. So you will have your own tote bag because we are very thoughtful. And that bag will contain your own HR Unfrozen planner and souvenir program. It's actually a mix. It's actually a notebook and a souvenir program in one. So there's a physical thing, a souvenir for you, aside from the tote bag. And then you will also have your wellness kit. So it may contain a mask, may contain your own hand sanitizer. And we're still negotiating with the Cebu City government because we're hoping to have your own two-old kit, but that one is a joke. So again, your tote bag will be delivered to wherever you are. So I hope you register as well. And reason number 8. Well, reason number 8 is quite special for me, and I hope it's going to be special, it's useful well, because all registrants will receive a signed copy of my book, this self-serving, Finding Mr. Itzarde, a post-pandemic leadership and people management handbook. This was inspired by an applicant back in the 1990s, very late 1990s. She sent a letter to one Mr. Itzarde, and the guard was really so frantic as to looking for who's Mr. Itzarde. And as it turned out, it wasn't the person. The applicant was actually sending an application letter, of course, to HRD. So you can just imagine people misunderstanding, mishearing, and worse, not appreciating the value of HRD. As a function is very important, and this book is my way of saying a tribute to it, but this time it takes into perspective the changes that are happening right now with the pandemic and everything else. So that's your signed copy that goes inside your tote bag. And number 9, as we near the end of my presentation, you're not just attending a regional conference, you're actually helping, because part of the proceeds that is actually helping our frontliners as we continue our campaign against COVID-19. So this one is good for the soul. So the company can actually help, and our effort as well in making sure that PMAP will always be among the frontliners as we continue this fight. And finally, reason number 10, it's one of the wisest investments in learning. And we guarantee you it's going to be something worth remembering, and all the learning that we will get can actually help us as we prepare for, hopefully, as we emerge out of the pandemic. Again, Don't forget RC10 with its theme HR Unfrozen, Clarity, Self-Mastery, and the Art of Letting Go. For registration details, it's for member PMAP, 3,000 has only, and for non-members, it's 3,500. And I can assure you, I just gave you 10 reasons, but there are more reasons why you should attend RC20. And 8 a.m. NTS got your preference. So probably in the morning, day 2 in the afternoon, and day 3 for the graveyard shift. And thank you so much. And I'm going to give this back to Sir Ray. Thank you. I hope you enjoy our learning session today. And this is Bicho Vinir. Magandang hapon. Maayong hapon sa inyong tanan.
Thank you so much, Sir Jovinier. You're still the best since 1998, even before RC. I'm for sure we're gonna be around for the RC 2020 just to grab that book, Mr. HRD, because it's free. Now we proceed to the main session. We are privileged to have with us this afternoon a prominent figure from a leading global advisory broking and solutions company, Willis Tower Watson, who will show us some interesting data on what companies are focusing on in response to the human capital implications of COVID-19. Now, our speaker has previously served as a senior manager for 4 years, where he was responsible for providing clients from different industries with information on pay and benefit levels through the Willis Towers Watson Total Reward Survey and various compensation and benefits reports and publication. Now, he has also ventured into line HR management with stints at Cementos Mexicanos or Cemex and DHL Philippines. Throughout these years, he occupied various HR positions handling numerous HR related projects, including design of HR programs and policies, compensation and benefits design and administration program, expatriate management programs, and employee relations, as well as recruitment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Director for Talent and Reward segment of Willis Towers Watson, Mr. Patrick Marquina.
Dagang salamat, Ray. Maayong hapon sa inyong tanan, and thanks for giving us this opportunity to be part of your webinar. And thank you to the board members and officers of PMAP Cebu chapter. So our topic for today, ready for the next normal. So the question is, what's the next normal and what's the new normal? So in the succeeding slides, in the next couple of minutes, I'll give you a walkthrough of a research study that was conducted by Willis Towers Watson related to COVID pandemic, how organizations are adjusting or adopting programs, policies related to the different phases of the situation that we're going through. No, I'll ask my colleague Ging to start presenting the slides. Can you see the slides now? Okay, so The pandemic fundamentally changed the ability of people and organizations to operate normally, as we have given as an introduction for this webinar. And it has demonstrated the material value of human capital and the health and contributions of people to companies, business performance, and to the global economy as a whole. In earlier periods of the pandemic, we've seen the government, companies, organizations were in a very reactive mode because of the speed and scale of the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was very difficult for us to predict what's going to happen. Now that companies have a better understanding of the situation as well as the uncertainties and challenges that organizations may face, they are now well positioned to model scenarios and outcomes to develop plans in navigating the future. So the succeeding slides will focus on a guidebook which outlines an approach to develop such plans so that organizations like you can do and adopt to the new realities and return to productivity mode. So we have subdivided this presentation today to cover a range of HR management practices. We have categorized them into three major buckets. So we have employee experience and culture, which is more focused on supporting employees managing through the pandemic with a focus on, of course, health of the company and shared commitment to dignity and employee first or employee well-being. And then we have work and rewards, which enables productivity and output while managing employee rewards in line with contribution, changing business dynamics, especially with the impact of the pandemic. The third item or third category will focus on benefits and well-being. So ensuring not just the physical, but also the emotional, social, and financial well-being of our employees by implementing appropriate policies and programs that would address the concerns of our employees nowadays. So before we move into the real action plans, let me just share with you some studies that we conducted just to be able to provide you with some context and introduction. Um, early part of March when ECQ was implemented, Willis Towers Watson conducted a pulse survey just to get the practices or get a feel of what organizations are doing, no? And in Cebu, I know some you're under, I believe, ECQ, ano? Still ECQ ba? But the cases, the number of cases in Cebu are increasing, rapidly increasing, and that prohibits some of our organizations to operate normally. So what were companies doing back then, no? And these are things that I think you can still implement as you move towards, or as we move towards hoping to get back to normal, no? So based on that survey that we conducted across several organizations in the Philippines. A lot of the companies have moved to remote work arrangement or work from home, and 99% of those survey participants or implemented work from home arrangement support, where they give additional employee support to enable remote work, which can be in a form of internet subsidy, mobile phone subsidy, which were not typically provided during normal period. And then in terms of financial security, 80% of those companies that we surveyed provided financial support in terms of advance payment of 13th month pay, no? And other fixed bonuses, guaranteed bonuses. In some cases where employees are required to report for work, they're part of the skeletal workforce, hazard pay, as well as other support benefits such as transportation, meal, and accommodation were being provided. These were the practices that were implemented during the ECQ. And I suppose even at this point na naka-GCQ ng Metro Manila or most part of the Philippines, no, a lot of companies are quite reluctant to go back to work, or our employees are quite reluctant to go back to work. So where there's opportunity to work from home, um, support given for those section or those segment in the population are still provided up to now. And then we have also we're also presenting here the three major other practices that we see in other locations outside the Philippines, which I believe are very applicable, especially in our situation. So we're going through the same challenges, the pandemic. So this will also apply to our employees. So one key point is a lot of companies would tend to over communicate. No, I'll use that term, but that's actually very effective in terms of um, um, informing our employees in terms of preventive health. uh, So nandiyan yung nagpa-provide ng respiratory infection, telemedicine, providing FAQs and emergency responses. And then there's also a focus in terms of protecting physical health by providing or making sure the facility where they will work in, no, especially now that some of our employees are going back to work, are disinfected. Yung hygienic efforts are being in place, no, promoting the use of telemedicine as well. And then, of course, one key item that uh, a lot of organizations, and I guess even locally, will have to look into would be emotional health. No, during this time of uncertainty, it started with just a cabin fever, and then it developed probably to anxiety or so. It's better for us to check our employees and to ensure we also protect emotional health, and that's through either employee assistance program or increase in telebehavioral health support. So these are the different programs being implemented by organizations or that was implemented during the height of the quarantine period. But I believe some of our companies right now are still implementing those. So for those organizations, especially the participants in this webinar, these are things you can actually look into, no? Especially if you have employees that are remotely working. We save on the electricity, but we can rechannel that resources in making sure we enable them to operate similar to their type of contribution or level of contribution when they report for work physically. And for those who are required to report for work because of the absence of domestic transportation or public transportation, probably some assistance in the area of transportation subsidy or providing some financial assistance, no, for those who are required to report for work. There are three stages or key stages of actions that we're seeing in terms of how organizations will adopt or how will transition. No? So there's an initial response of adaptation during cycle of continuous learning and rapidly changing conditions. And that's what we consider as managing through the crisis where we protect and preserve human capital value. So that's the focus. I guess for the first few months when we're going through this challenges, no, and nung nagkaroon ng ECQ, yan ang naging focus of most organizations. And then next phase will be resetting, reimagining operations under new assumptions, protocols, focus areas, and pace. No, different organizations will have different situations, and that's what we consider as yung phase na restoring stability, where the focus in terms of human capital value is yung pagre-regenerate, no? And then of course, hopefully most of us are looking into this already, and we can't wait to get past this phase of the pandemic, is for us to achieve sustainable operations and business model and redefining what normal means in the new environment, and that may vary from one company to another. So here we call that phase as operating post crisis. So the focus of that is to sustain human capital value. all of the key action items in the succeeding slides are categorized into different buckets. So we have work-related, merong mga pay-related, health and well-being, and then of course, employee experience and culture. So my succeeding slides are focused on those. So let's move to the first, yung managing through the crisis. So here, we're in the phase of reacting, adapting, and temporarily sustaining. No, while other locations or other companies are way past this stage, no, but I guess because of the growing number of COVID infected Filipinos, a lot of our organizations are still probably in that stage of managing that crisis. Wala pa sila dun sa preparation for return to work. So in this phase, ang focus is supporting employees as they manage to the impact of the pandemic on their own personal and professional lives. So it goes beyond just the professional area, no? We need to support them also in their personal lives, ensuring safety, physical, emotional, social, and financial well-being of all employees by implementing work policies, offering relevant benefits and other programs that may address the requirements of our employees. A lot of organizations have adopted their business continuity plans and clearly articulated key policies and procedures. So, prior to the pandemic, I know a lot of organizations are going through that technological transformation or digitalization. And I guess if there's one thing that this pandemic will or one thing that will come out na medyo maganda, no, during the pandemic, it will push organization to expedite that digitalization agenda for the organization, because even before the pandemic, our our neighboring countries are already moving into that. Siguro ito parang na-push tayo to move into digitalization. And then, of course, scaling workforce, either scaling up, scaling down, and retaining critical roles based on business needs, complying with the regulatory requirements. During the first few months, haven't heard of any organization that are really scaling down. Ano? I guess the focus is more on the how to protect, how to ensure health, physical and uh, physical health, no, to protect the physical health of our employees. But after 2 3 months that we're going through this lockdown, no operations, that's when we feel that there's a requirement for us to adapt, no, based on the business needs as well. It's a balancing act. During this stage as well, ito yung opportunity for us to train, support, empower leaders and managers for them to be able to communicate empathy and focus on culture, purpose, values, principles, and employees first messaging. No, during this period, employees will remember how the organization supported them and what kind of action items or programs have we done, no, to support and to manage this crisis. And then enabling engagement and productivity while managing employee rewards in line with contributions. And then, of course, managing leadership paradox of balancing immediate needs with the ability to rebound on and remain viable for the long term, no, very important yan during the crisis. It's a defining moment for all our leaders. Sabi nga nila, it's very hard because it's a balancing act ng stakeholders. And when we say stakeholders, it's not just the customers, owners, shareholders. The bulk of that will be our employees. Okay, so here, the action items we have divided into subcategories. No, let's start with work related. Uh, in terms of work during that stage, or in this stage we're still managing through the crisis, balance the cost and performance objectives for large incumbent and pivotal segments. No, it's very important for us to retain critical talents based on business outlook. So we suggest, or we would always tell our clients, wag yung knee jerk reaction. Let's recalibrate. Let's look at the business outlook and what would be the impact and what's required in terms of performance for those employees that are pivotal to the growth of the organization. Of course, implementing safe work policies, safety flexibility, remote working, technological support, split work arrangement, social distancing. All of this we're hearing in the news and in media, no? And these are things we need to implement as we move, no, as we go through this crisis. You also have to enable our managers to manage work team and performance. If we're used to the traditional way of 8 to 5 bandy clock, we when we see we don't associate work if hindi natin nakikita yung employees reporting for work, no. There's a huge change, and in some cases we have to enable our managers and to support them go through this change, no, being able to manage yung performance, to monitor. And then of course we can use this opportunity to reskill and upskill employees during downtime. And in the past, where the always yung reason why they cannot attend training is because height ng operation, work exigencies. Here, this is an opportunity for us to retool and step back and look at skills required of our employees, whether now or what would be the normal work scenario and what type of skills are required there. In terms of pay, it's very important for us to review, redesign performance metrics, and pay programs. What we have committed and what we have agreed as a performance measure and reward during the early parts of 2020 might have changed already, especially kung naka-calendar year kayo, no? And we still have commitments in terms of delivery, output, and the linkages of that in terms of rewards. And we need to be able to review, redesign, and recalibrate that. Develop retention reward programs, especially for critical talents, and including yung mga high-risk work premiums. This is very important. Sabi ko nga kanina, no, some organizations are providing hazard pay, especially if yung essentials where our employees are required to report for work, no. uh, Even with what's happening, I guess it helps if we provide them some support in terms of making sure they're protected, as well as they have yung pay premiums. Those are the things that we're seeing as part of the survey. Others, yung considering cash conversion strategies, they ask them to take their leaves. Uh, uh, in some cases, may reduce work, no, and yung bonus reduction, no. I haven't seen and haven't heard pa naman yung guaranteed bonuses, but at least for the variable pay, nagre-recalibrate din tayo based on the business outlook. Okay. In terms of health, which is a key item, especially during the pandemic, a lot of organizations nowadays will have to review coverage for adequacy gaps. No, negotiate, offer adapted coverage. What other value-added services are there in your contract? No, na baka hindi lang natin na i-communicate, such as telemedicine or support at risk ng at risk populations, or whatever health services our provider can offer. That's part of our contract, no. We also promote access and help employees navigate through government and company provided programs, especially related to health. This is the opportunity for us to inform them, or we really need to inform them so that they can navigate through all these options when they need it, no. Very important is for us to analyze cost implications and implement cost management actions, no. For those with let's say reimbursement type of plans, or meron kayong mga medicine allowances na nire-reimburse towards throughout the year, yung establishment of a temporary claims reimbursement reserves, because during the ECQ, yung mga elective, yung mga hindi naman urgent procedures, most of our employees most likely have deferred that towards probably third or fourth quarter, when they feel like it's safe to go to the hospital already or safe to go out. And we can expect utilization during that period to spike up, no? While it may be during this stage the case is mababa ang ating utilization, it's probably because they're scared to go to the hospitals. But we need to have reimbursement reserves in case mag-spike up siya during the latter part of the year. In terms of well-being, we have to address specific needs such as on-site safety, stress, working remotely, yung mga financial hardship and everything, no? Very important for us to implement agile employee listening strategies, or different ways, no, of getting or hearing our employees' concerns. In the past, if we have, let's say, regular kapihan town hall, what we're seeing in a lot of organizations, especially those that are very good, no, in terms of managing this challenges, they're more frequent, mas targeted, no, yung kanilang employee listening strategies. In some cases, mas intimate. It will require our managers, not just the CEO, not just HR, or not just the functional head, even our operational managers and supervisors initiate and come up with this listening strategy, just to make sure they're engaged, they be able to monitor, check on their well-being, also check on performance as well, no? And then, of course, we have to repurpose current and offer new product solutions. So while before, baka ang focus natin is more on preventive healthcare, mas more on the daily room and board limits, inclusion and everything. This is an opportunity for us to also look at yung mga other solutions such as tele well-being, promote in a way promoting emotional, social, financial well-being. And these are the things that we're seeing in other locations, no, other organizations. In terms of employee experience and culture, it's very important, especially during this time, for us to um, uh, enable employees to connect, collaborate, and engage. Very difficult, especially for the first few months, no, virtual work arrangement. And I'm sure for most of us, it was quite a challenge. For people managers na mas sanay kayo na pumapasok siya regularly, you get to talk to them, you get to monitor day to day. Ngayon, wala yon unless you call. Hindi naman tayo pwedeng 8 hours naka-online, naka-Zoom, no? So it's very important for us to be able to find ways to be able to connect, engage them. Sabi ko nga kanina, agile employee listening strategy. It could be very quick, untraditional way of having that discussion or communication with our employees. We need to also inform our employees, and they need to feel supported, no? Inform them of what's happening to the organization, what kind of support they can get from the company, and our line managers will play a very important role in this. This is not just an HR responsibility, no? Uh, Most of the time, sabihin, HR should take care of this. But this time around, because of the arrangement, the work arrangement, it's very hard for us to pull them all together in one room or one conference room just to be able to communicate. And this is where line managers will really have a very important role. And even prior to pandemic, promoting culture of agility, safety, well-being, and inclusion are very important items when it comes to employee experience and culture. More so for now, no, mas heightened yan. They have different situations, even in an employee. In your employee base, there are certain segments who are working from home. There are those who cannot connect but are supposed to connect, no, pero wala silang facility, or they're reporting to work, they're front lines, no? So we need to be able to be promote to be able to promote agility and safety during that stage. Okay, so we have polls, no? We have a short survey, a few questions, and uh, we want to get your thoughts on some of the items. During a similar webinar we conducted in Manila, we also conducted a survey like this. And what we intend to do is after this webinar, we consolidate both Manila responses and Cebu responses and present it to the group, or when we send out the slides, and the deck will include that, no? So yung first question, all you have to do is select from, I believe nakapost siya sa screen, ano? What's the impact? What do you think will be the impact or expected impact of the pandemic on your business, no? For the next 6 to 12 months. Okay? What do you think will be the impact sa business ninyo, no? Will it have a positive impact? No impact at all? Small negative impact, moderate to negative, and so on. Okay, so hit the button and press submit. I'll give you a few seconds to respond to that. We have 108 participants in Zoom, so I hope we all get to participate. Last 30 seconds. Okay, can we show the results? So majority have responded that it will have a moderate to negative impact in the organization, large negative impact. At least 67% nandun tayo sa or more than 80%, I think, no? Yeah, 80% negative impact. I guess uh this is depending on the industries where you belong to, no? For healthcare, for essentials, food manufacturing, I think not much. It won't be felt as much, and you will see that in the slides later on that I will show. We have 18% na may positive impact sa business. I guess sabi ko nga, this could be organizations na essentials or food manufacturing or healthcare. In Manila, when we conducted this, halos similar yung responses. No, we had around 200 plus participants in that webinar. Hindi siya nalalayo in terms of the responses that you have provided here, where a big percentage are expecting somehow negative impact. Maybe because in some cases we're subsidiaries of multinational companies, and it's not just we're not just looking at the domestic operation when we look at impact of the pandemic. Whatever's happening there in the US or in other locations where the pandemic is quite very high, no, yung kanyang impact sa business, malaki rin ang impact sa subsidiary ng companies here. For local organizations, of course, operating during this time, no, yung normal operations, especially if we're not used to the this kind of work arrangement, definitely will have an impact in terms of delivery, in terms of being able to produce, no, whatever targets we have. Okay, thank you for that. And we'll have a few other questions like that as we go through the slides. Yung next would be especially for organizations na nag-start na silang bumalik sa operation, normal operation, no? And well, majority of us siguro are thinking or in this phase already or transitioning to this phase where we call it restoring stability, no? It's the phase where we start to rebuild and return to work. So here, ang focus is making it safe yung return to work, including continuation of relevant work policies such as self-assessment, on-site health checks, emotional support, policies protection for business travel, which will address concerns of our employees. During this stage is very important for us to involve employees in coming up with an RTO, return to or return to work procedures, no, because yung malaking bulk ng population who will be uh, affected and experience this transition are our employees. It's not something that we think HR and leaders can decide on their own. No? So here we start to readjust work, including new ways of working. Um, what we have implemented for the past few months that work well, na-realize natin, work from home is not bad. The output is even better for some. No? What we're seeing is some organizations will continue those certain work arrangement. Um, and implement other new ways of working for other segment of the population who won't be able to report for work depending of what process you will adopt, no. We need to ensure viability and enablement of leaders, managers to lead through uncertainty and change. This is where our leaders and managers will really play a very important role. Especially gusto nila nakikita nila yung leaders and managers there managing, helping them manage through this crisis and to transition of restoring stability. No, we need to assess total rewards programs to align with strategy, performance, and well-being. Where at this point, I believe a lot of organizations are looking at the business outlook, trying to recalibrate. No, it's now transitioning. Before masyadong focus siguro on health, wellness. Now it's a balance. We're also looking at the impact on the business and assess our programs, our total reward programs to align to how to get there, no, in terms of our business goal. Very important also is implementing governance, reporting, and incentive frameworks to monitor and track human capital. No, very important yan. Alignment of our rewards for the future, and consider options to add. I would say ensuring visibility of leaders and managers, very important. And then yung human capital metrics in terms of reporting, no, very important, especially during this time. Maraming transition, performance, even the way we're structured probably will be affected somehow if we're wired towards certain work arrangements, especially for sales, no? Dati, we have those field sales. I don't think they can do field sales work now. So, anong magiging focus natin and what channel, how do we deliver on our commitment both to our customers and our clients and shareholders, sorry. And then we move to the next where we have the different action items per phase. No, the categories are the same. The activities are somehow the same, although nagtitweak siya a bit because ito medyo transitionary phase. No, nagre-rebuild tayo, nagpa-plan tayo ng return to work. So sa work area, we plan for and define new ways of working based on current condition and future perceived anticipated working arrangement. No, sabi ko nga, what work before is very important, and kung halimbawa pwede naman palang work from home, then that probably some organizations, they will operate in a way that certain segment of the population will continue to work from home. Others will probably do split work arrangement or skeletal workforce or different ways of delivering our commitment and ensuring that we maintain a balance of yung health ng employees as well as the health of the business. Making work safe for on-site. A lot of organizations now masyadong matrabaho ang work ng facilities now, no, making sure may social distancing in our cafeteria, minamarkahan natin yung mga areas where they can go to, making sure sinasanitize on a regular basis. No, these are things we're seeing organizations are doing right now, especially here in Manila. Continue to implement reskilling, upskilling, depending on the type of work arrangement we're seeing in the future, and in alignment to programs of, as mentioned, yung mga new ways of working. In terms of pay, we need to redesign rewards and some retention programs, especially for our critical talent, sales force, executives, which are pivotal to the growth of the organization. No? Um, in some cases, we've proven that the most junior level, yung operation, yung line during nung pandemic, sila yung pumapasok. So some organizations, and yung tinitingnan nila, how do we reward these people who risk their lives and risk their health reporting for work during operation. Adjustment of performance metrics, as mentioned a while ago, no? During this time, especially start na ng second half of the year, we need to recalibrate and manage expectations in terms of performance and rewards. No, in some organizations, they've gone one step further, looking at risk assessment for the organization, looking at different factors that will affect viability of the business before implementing HR programs or anything that would have investment, no, peso investment. Um, for those with LTI, long-term incentive plans, we need to evaluate implications of the pandemic on business performance. The long-term goals of the organization definitely will, well, for most, at least for the 80% that responded the survey, no, may negative impact. So we should be able to align our align performance and rewards for LTI and short-term incentive plan. Of course, assessing current rewards, align to new ways of working. Um, I know it's kind of difficult, especially for the Philippines, no? But for those that, let's say, nagbibigay tayo ng certain subsidies because may travel or business-related expenses, and they don't get to travel right now, no? And probably in some situations, you can rechannel that resources into something that will enable that employee group to still deliver on their whatever work arrangement that they have, no? And this is also an opportunity, no, pagdating sa rewards, to uh, look at our programs, our strategy, given that this pandemic, ano ba talaga ang vinavalue? Diyan lalabas ano yung vinavalue ng ating employees and rechannel our resources to that. And in some cases, it could be in the area of health and well-being. No, so continue ongoing coverage protection. I guess at this point is the start of us discussing engagement or healthcare contracts, no, for 2021. What will be the other inclusions or whatever support services would expect from our provider, no? It's very important for us, if possible, to conduct financial modeling, so which yung analysis ng claims during crisis and expected premium increase, no? um, Sabi ko nga kanina, yung reserving yung spike towards for elective surgeries towards the end of the year, no? um, when we think, no, and we're hoping that we're going to go back to normal already. Okay, so well-being naman, implementing physical well-being. So it's the same, no? Physical, emotional, financial well-being are important features. It's just that here we're looking at a more transitionary stage, no? Since they're going back to work already, some are going back to work. What are these well-being initiatives that we can implement and continue to implement as we transition to the new normal? Okay. Employee experience. Throughout this transition, employees need to feel supported, engaged, productively and safely. No, um, um, actually lahat naman ng stages, that's very important, but more so during this uh, period of uncertainty. I guess at this point we're hearing already other organizations letting go of some of their employees, or they're feeling the impact of the business. And most of the time, headcount or employees are yung first na titingnan when we look at cost cutting, no, especially kung direct ang impact sa business. So they need to we need to engage them, we need to make sure we communicate, we inform them of what's happening, we provide the support and whatever um, um, programs they need, no, to manage through this change. And still ang focus is for them to yung employee experience, no, throughout the stages nung organization or nung company. So we need to be able to support them regardless of what kind of situation they're in or what kind of situation the organization will be, no. So that's very important. Okay, second question, no, sa survey natin. We'll get closer to uh, a sensitive topic when it comes to HR and managing workforce. So here the question is, what actions your company has already taken or are considering to on workforce related, no, action item in response to the impact of COVID to the business, no? Um, so yung choices natin, freeze or reduce hiring, lay off, workforce reductions, unpaid leave of absences or furloughs, early retirement window, voluntary separation programs. So these are the items and choices. So if you can select and hit the button na submit, I'll give you a few seconds. Last 10. Okay, let's show the results. Freeze, reduce hiring, no? Majority are, I guess at this point, because of the uncertainty, uh, cost related, attributed, and because of the yung reduced operation, we're freezing, reducing hiring, which is the number one in the list, no? We have around 28% na meron ng layoff, workforce reduction, or probably anticipating at this point that there will be layoff, workforce reduction. And in some cases, we have around 28%. None of this, wala pa silang action in terms of workforce-related activities, no, or workforce-related actions in line with the pandemic. So same for majority of the organizations in Manila, no, when we had this survey. Ang pinakamalaking percentage, actually close to 90%, is freeze and reduce hiring during that stage. Onti pa lang yung nag-comment. I guess the same, no, mga 20+%, close to 30% yung anticipating layoff and workforce reductions already. And I guess this will be mostly for those that are yung operations nila or production is hampered and they're not considered as yung essentials, no? Uh, but for most organizations, ang unang tinitignan natin is looking at ways to maintain costs or not increase our cost, manage our costs. That's why headcount freeze or headcount hiring yung una nating tinitingnan. Well, a few have also mentioned na they're giving unpaid leaves of absences, voluntary separation, and so on. So for both Cebu and Manila, number one is freeze, reduce hiring. Next would be layoff, workforce reductions. Okay, last phase. I know I'm running out of time. Please feel free to uh, chat me if I need to speed up a bit. I still have a few slides, no, but I'll breeze through this quickly. Halos pareho naman po ang mga action steps. Iba lang yung context, especially when we look at the different phases. Here we're looking at operating post-crisis, no? Uh, Ito yung tinatawag nating sustaining, no? Ito na yung sustaining stage where we implement new ways of working and the skilling. What we have implemented during ECQ, during the transition that we're going back to work, have made organizations realize that there are different ways of delivering um, output, no? And sabi ko nga, in some cases, work from home works better for some. In others, there's really no way we can work from home, especially kung may uh, manufacturing, because it involves machine, no? And kailangan talaga natin, probably we channel some of the resources and how to support them. And then in some cases where there's no opportunity to work from home, and I know some companies here in Manila, no, because they're frontline and hindi naman talaga sila pwedeng mag-take ng calls when they're at home, but their proximity to the office is quite far. The organization found out ways to reskill and retool them, and for them to contribute in any capacity, no, kahit you didn't hire them for that reason, but because we want to keep jobs, we reskill and retool them to be able to contribute to the organization. The leaders will need to inspire around the vision of the future and recommit, no, to culture, purpose, values of the organization. It's still the same, but the vision of the future might, yung ating the way to get there might change, no. While before we're tracking on our 5-year plan, we're on the 5th year, baka ngayon nag-recalibrate tayo and will become 6 to 7 years, no. So we need to be able to inspire and make sure our employees are engaged in meeting that commitment. Building a high performance employee experience, especially during this pandemic, it's actually an opportunity for leaders to be able to do that. Sabi ko nga kanina, defining leadership moment yung challenges that we're facing now. And for us HR practitioners, it's the same, no? We're at the heart of all this complexity and challenges, looking at balancing management, business concerns, as well as employee concerns, and it changes every now and then. What we're seeing is that post crisis, organizations will be more agile, will look at agile ways of doing things so that they can adjust and quickly adapt in case another pandemic like this will happen, or whatever crisis we're going to face in the future. Creating flexible cost structure. Uh, well, hopefully, of course, our labor laws will also allow us, no, especially in managing rewards, benefits, and other items. But we need to be able to assess, and this is the opportunity for us to assess what are the programs that are really valued, no, and we can rechannel our efforts there. Especially now, health and wellness, I guess, will be the items that are required. Employee support, especially for those that are commuting, no, and to certain extent, those that are working from home will also need support, no, in various ways. Implementing strategic financial cost risk management strategies because of the uncertainty is very important, and governance oversight of all human capital matrix is very important, where we have a lot of these programs being implemented. Okay, I'll breeze quickly through some of the slides. I still have a few minutes. um, so work, it's basically the same, no. coming up with different work strategy. While in the past, nung first phase, it's more of reactive. No second phase, we're trying to balance. We're trying to check which will work. No, work from home, a combination of those. But we need to be able to reestablish what will be our future normal for the organization. What's being implemented in one organization may not be effective to another organization. So it's very important for us to keep track of what's happening, what are the benchmark practices that's being done by other organizations in similar industries, what's working well for them, or what you think will work well for your industry or organization in terms of work arrangement. For performance and rewards, I'll highlight lang yung item, yung second to the last item. Allocate total reward spend with evolving employee needs, values, and preference. No, sabi natin, kung if we're managing millennials, yung travel, perks, vacation, mga non-cash awards are very attractive. But there's wala silang paggagamitan nun ngayon, no? You cannot take vacations, you cannot even travel. So how can we reallocate that into employee needs, no? Not just wants. Employee needs, values, and preferences. And that's very important. If we move to the next slide. Okay. Sa health, I guess when we review our healthcare programs with healthcare providers, we need to be able to anticipate and include yung preparedness for future events. What other supports or support or services we will need in case we go through the same situation in the future. A lot, I guess, this pandemic have in some ways, no, na 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 nakalabit niya tayo, and to say let's relook and revisit our services and the kind of healthcare supports programs that we have for our employees. No, we also look at evolving trends in terms of utilization and claims. No, because definitely the pandemic will have an impact on healthcare trends. In terms of well-being, it's still the same. Agile employee listening, strategy to assess, address concerns, uh, safety, and certainty. These are the things we need to address, especially now. From an employee standpoint, yung uncertainty, yung reluctantness to be able to report for work, anxiety of hindi nila alam what's going to happen to their job and organization. That's where I think we need company support, no? And similarly, this employee experience, it talks about the same thing, no? If you look at the next page, uh, it focuses on being able to engage our employees inspired around the vision for the future, drive high performing employee experience. It's the same, no? We need to be able to come up with personalized communications covering all aspects of work segment of the population. This is where we try to tailor fit our approach depending on that segment or that talent group within the company. We have to enable leaders, managers to drive a healthy company mindset. I guess even in our strategy right now, in our performance measure, dati nakafocus masyado sa growth, revenue, let's say employee engagement, but more focus on certain aspects, no? Here na-heighten yung health and well-being of the company and the individual and the employees, and we believe that that's where we're heading, no, in terms of strategy and approach. Okay, uh very quickly, we have categorized the industries and what we assess as challenges and actions by industries and companies, no, depending on the situation that they're in. So if you look at tourism, leisure, aviation. These are the industries organizations that we consider, or you may consider at risk. No, you can Google it, check what's happening, and ito yung malaki impact ng pandemic. And then we have those that are under significant decline, like automotive, construction, and real estate. Probably at this point medyo nagpipick up na, no, but when we did this study, nung ECQ pa to, no, kasama sila doon sa significant decline. Financial services will be stable. Of course, yung may nakikita nating rapid growth will be personal healthcare, food, medical supply, and so on. No, food production will always be something that we think will still grow. No, now, in terms of the different action items, we have the way to read it is to look at what are the activities program depending on what stage of the phase you're in right now. So if you're in a rapid growth and restoring stability stage, we have summarized, itemized the different action items you can adopt or other organizations are adopting. I won't go through each and every individual item because we're running out of time. Anyway, we're sharing this slide to you. Uh, it's basically the same as the same items I've mentioned in my previous slides, but it's categorized based on the different uh, industry scenario. Okay. Last question. Okay, last question before we summarize. What actions your company has already taken or considering to take in response to COVID on items related to pay? No? Salary freeze, reducing merit increases, delaying merit increases, salary reductions. Okay, yes, there are companies who are uh, exploring that. No, reduce annual bonus accruals, reduce severe pay policies, enhance pay to those working extra hours. No, in our study, majority of companies have are doing their salary reviews every first quarter of the year. And I would always say when I give this webinar na I guess at this point majority of companies have already implemented salary increases, no? Kasi kung first quarter of the year, ECQ happened mid of March, no? So I guess by that time na implement na nila yung salary increase. So here what we're asking, if you have yet to implement salary increase this year, what actions are you taking? Or we can look at 2021, no? Yung early 2021. So is there going to be a salary freeze, reduction in merit increases? So ibig sabihin may increase pero reduce ang budget. Third is nagde-defer. Pwedeng hindi it won't follow the regular cycle. No? Salary reductions as in nagka-cut ng salaries, maybe temporary or reduce work hours. And then some other items would be reduce annual bonus accruals, severance pay policies. No? Okay, so select, hit that button again. Okay, let's see the results. Okay. I guess if you look at the responses here, no, if I may, can we scroll this down a bit? Ano yung nasa ibaba? Enhance ano na? No, not applicable. Okay. If you look at the responses, varying siya. While we know pinakamalaki siguro is delaying merit increases. Wait and see whether we can provide, depending probably on what the business outlook or business results will be, no? But we also see 24% nag-salary freeze. There are others nag-reduce ng budget. So it shows that a lot of organizations are definitely looking at pay as one area or that's one item that they're looking at especially with this pandemic, no? Ito yung merong impact. We're also seeing reduction in annual bonus accruals, no? For the Manila side for this survey, what came out, yung pinakamalaking percentage is actually delaying merit increase. Around close to 30%. 29% magdi-delay ng merit increase. 20% mag-freeze ng salary. Okay? So, for those, again, I'll repeat my statement kanina. No? For those who normally review their salaries first quarter, my assumption is you've granted it. But for those na mid-year, fourth quarter, eto I guess will be deferring their salary increases, reduce merit increase. In some cases where they already feel the impact of the pandemic in the business, naka-freeze ang salary, no? No merit increase for the year until siguro further notice. So halos similar responses, reduction in merit increase, delay merit increase, and salary freeze are the action items in terms of pay. Okay, last few slides. So si Willis Towers Watson worked with the World Economic Forum to come up with principles, no, related to how organization should, ito yung parang kumbaga guiding principles of for organization. So yung first niyan is staying true to the purpose, values, principle, and culture of an organization. That starts at the top. Any initiative, laging sinasabi natin leaders ang kailangan it should start there, no? Effective leaders and transparent, empathic, and create trust, and their behaviors will help calm, support, and even energize employees so that they will feel vested in a common mission, purpose, and for them to embrace new ways of working. No, these are uncharted waters and crisis, no, which will demand I would say agility and innovation, adapting to rapidly changing systems and regulations. Our scenarios are changing every week. In some cases, every day. No, my wife also is an HR. She monitors what's happening regularly and lagi ang nasa call. And there are a lot of changes. There are a lot of initiatives being done, and we need to be very quick and agile to be able to adapt to those changes. Keep a pulse of shifting needs and priorities of all stakeholders is very important. So that will include customers, employees, shareholders, no, and evolving state of competitive and innovative practices is very important. This is the opportunity, especially in a network like this PMAP, for us to share best practices, especially helping each other try to rebuild organizations, no? Ano yung what are those practices na we can share that other organizations can adopt for them to be able to pull off from this crisis? Cost pressure for the current revenue challenge environment places a significant stress on leaders to meet both shareholders and the well-being of employees. And then decision making should be very quick. Sabi ko nga kanina, very nimble, agile, because it's rapidly changing with uncertain environment requires us as organizations, as practitioners, to resist the pressure of engaging in very short-term action items, no? Yung mga knee-jerk reaction. So we need to pause for a while, look at the scenario, and look at other practices elsewhere. That's very important for us to go through and to be able to get through this crisis. And then yung last item, before we go to Q&A, these are ito yung pinaka point of view ni Willis Towers Watson for us HR practitioners. We need to reimagine work and rewards for in a situation that we need to be agile, may virtual working arrangement, automation, reskilling, no? Even before the crisis, when we were talking about future of work, AI, nandiyan na yung focus ng HR. And it's very important, especially nowadays, to reimagine work and rewards considering this different scenarios. We need to lead with compassion. We need to be empathic, yung transparency, no? Make work and culture safe and inclusive, protect employees. So it's not just focus on physical, but also on mental, social, financial well-being. Building flexibility in cost, as mentioned in majority of the items in the previous slides. And then in all of this, it's very important yung governance aspect, especially yung human capital metrics, emphasizing yung mga health, safety, sustainability. That's very important. Any program that we introduce now, no, because we don't know whether this is something that we will continue to have in the future, given what the different what's the changing environment. Governance is very important, and we need to be able to always be on the lookout for practices in other organizations, in other companies. No, Willis Towers Watson would always provide regular studies for free. No, through your email, so you can share your email to us. We have regular um, uh, j- um, releases, press releases related to practice, especially during this pandemic and during this transition and challenging time. So with that, we can move to the Q&A.
Thank you very much. That was a very informative and data-driven session. In behalf of our moderator, I am Pinky Mante. I'm the immediate past president of PMAP CEBU. Vice President Ray had to step out for a meeting, so I am taking over. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. Although this pandemic has caught everybody by surprise, it's good to know that a lot of organizations have been seriously looking at both their employees' welfare and the business itself, and that we can see trends emerging from these initiatives, which we could all learn from and take note of our own organizations. Now, I believe our participants are very interested to know more and are now throwing in questions in our Q&A chat box. But before that, here are some friendly reminders. Make sure that both your audio and video are just click the raise hand and someone will reach out to you to ask if you would like to ask a live question. And if you would like to, we would be lining you up for asking that question live to our speaker. All right. So let's go to the next slide, please. That's the Q&A. Let's start with our first question. Okay. With the surveys you have been doing, especially how companies are evolving because of this pandemic, what is your outlook post-COVID? Do you see that these new practices will become a thing long-term or just temporary to weather us through, especially on the part of remote working?
Okay, thanks for that question. I'll answer that based on my point of view and what my personal point of view and what I think we should be doing. No, I guess to a certain extent, organizations will um, transition. Yung tinatawag nating new normal is a work arrangement where we see different segments of the population in different type of working arrangement, which includes work from home, in some cases skeletal workforce or mobile workforce. No, and my suggestion is also to explore that. I guess there are merits in having, in some cases, sabi ko nga, it's advantageous to work from home. Mas nakaka-deliver or mas maganda yung output na ipo-provide ng employee. But in some cases, talagang walang opportunity to work from home. And a lot of these companies, most likely, and my feeling is that they will continue that work arrangement and will institutionalize something like that. Because during this pandemic, there are a lot of realizations. There are cost savings also in some work arrangement. Uh, they realize that some of this work arrangement may prove to be more effective in delivering outputs, no? And in some cases, uh, it could be the other way around, no? So it's going to be a mix. And for us to prepare for another crisis like this, it may not be a pandemic, and I hope not, no? But the organizations will need to be able to make sure that in future situations like this, they'll be able to operate, no? And with that, I believe a lot of organizations will continue to have this mixed work arrangement. Include na rin natin yung tinatawag nating future of work. Prior to this, pinag-uusapan yan yung AI, different employee-employer work arrangement, or different ways of delivering work. It may prove very useful, no, in other locations like in the US. From a business standpoint, some of this work is delivered by an outsource or a talent platform, and when they don't need it, it's something that hindi burden for the company to be able to, kumbaga, isustain yung cost. So a lot of organizations, I believe, will look into that.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Patrick. There are also some challenges of organizations, although they do have the capability, or their employees have the capability to do work from home. Now, the organization has the challenge again of measuring performance. How do they really know that the workforce is really working? And it's like, is it 60-40, or is it 20% working and 80% Netflix? Or there's no way of checking. Not unless probably when you're at the BPO industry, because they do have the tools and they make sure that data privacy and client information are secured. But then again, most of the companies, especially the SMEs, would not have that capability. Well, thank you so much
Okay.
for that. Let's go to the next question. This is from Jerry Anos. How do we restore the confidence of our workers, since COVID will not disappear in the next few months or years? So siguro may ibang mga employees na natatakot silang mag-report to work. Like, for example, me, I'm working at the airport, and lots of people from all over would be passing through this airport. So what if our employees do not have that what do you call this, sense of safety, not in going back to work? Most of the companies do all the preventive measures, like us at the airport. We're doing all the preventive measures to make not only our employees safe, but also the passengers, no? But for
Yes.
other companies, how do we restore that confidence of our workers?
Okay. It's really a huge challenge, no? And it's a very challenging question, to be honest. My sense, and this is based on experience also, because we also manage people within our organization. At this point in time, it's very difficult to provide assurance, no? During we can only do as much in terms of uh, uh, providing communication, whatever support services we can provide to ensure the health and safety of our employees. Um, Office hygienic programs, no, will have to be in place. We need to, there are health, or I would say government standards or health standards that are being published, and as an organization we need to make sure we implement this to ensure na safe yung work environment for our employees, no. It's really, this is where I think the managers will have to step in and be able to communicate clearly to the employees yung what kind of services, or sorry, what kind of programs we're putting in place to ensure we support and we protect health of our employees. At the end of the day, talagang medyo challenging yung situation na yan, no. Merong mga employees tayo na talagang hindi mo siya mapapapasok. So kung merong opportunity for that person to work from home, I guess the more humane siguro approach is to explore that at this point, no. Especially the growing number of uh, cases, and that's my personal view. I'm answering that not as just Willis Towers Watson, but my personal view. um, but in cases where there's, let's say, dumating yung point na meron ng vaccine and everything, no, um, that will be a different situation. But sabi ko nga doon sa slide ko, we need to be empathic, we need to show empathy, we need to be able to put understand the situation of our employees, no. um, just make sure all those safety wellness protocols are in place. We can be 100% us, our as managers who will communicate that, can assure and can be 100% that that's being in place, no. At least, and regularly communicate to our employees. That somehow, I guess, will will make them feel a bit better. I'm not saying they'll report for work because of that, no, but at least feel better that we're doing everything we can. No organization, I guess, in no country can, even the first world countries can ascertain safety during that the stage. But we're doing everything in terms of making sure the work environment will be safe for them.
Yeah, and I think it's not only the responsibility of government or of our organizations to ensure a safe workplace, but we also, all of us have a personal responsibility. Number one is to stay away from men.
Yeah.
Stay away from touching your mouth, your eyes, and your nose. So it's actually personal responsibility. It doesn't have to, we don't need to have a security guard following us all around just to make sure we're not going to touch men, right? So we also need to do our part. Okay, next question is, oh, this is very interesting. A participant, an anonymous participant, is asking if they can have a copy of the presentation.
Yes, we'll send it to the PMAP group, including the responses to the study, and then you can share it with them, with the group.
All right. So we will just post this at our PMAP Cebu website so that everyone can just go to our website and visit our website and access both the recording and the materials. Thank you so much, Sir Patrick. From Haradev Paredes, his question is, can you cite some examples of total rewards or strategies aside from the usual HR practices? Thank you.
I suppose the question is total rewards, a strategy for rewards, especially during this pandemic, right? So I'll answer that question in line with that. Rewards is not just the cash and benefits, no. The way it's technically defined, it includes wellness, career opportunity, well-being, and so on. During this stage where I don't think we have much resources to provide cash award or cash rewards. There are other aspects in the whole scheme of total rewards that we can focus on or heighten our communication or promote, no, like career opportunities, career development, helping our employees in the reskilling and retooling in anticipation of whatever situation the organization will get into, no. At this point, I guess may some idea na tayo of what's going to happen, work arrangement, how we help support them to be, I would say, to be important, kung for the lack of a right term, no, to be important in the future state of the organization para to protect their jobs, no. These are, I think, some form of rewards or strategy that we can focus on. In terms of the tangible cash, no, uh my sense is a lot of organizations now might transition more so to focus on the variable aspect of rewards instead of the fix, or probably a more conservative fix but more aggressive variable depending on uh, business results, no. And I think that's the most uh, that's the most strategic way to look at it. If we cannot provide fixed increase right now, no, because of the situation, and we don't know whether we can sustain that, uh probably a more aggressive pay at risk depending on meeting certain strategic goals or reward business goals would be a better option. Parang in exchange for a fix, I give you a higher potential for variable pay or type of variable reward. So it's a mix of that, and again, other reward items such as performance, career opportunity, work life. Yun po siguro ang magiging focus ng ating strategy. And of course, wellness.
Yeah, number one talaga yung wellness. All right. I know you have lots of questions, but in the interest of time, this would be our last question. This is from Jerry Anos. Many MSMEs closed shop due to COVID. Too many employees were affected. How can we possibly help them recover? MSMEs are also one of the drivers of our economy.
Okay. I'll be honest with the group. I hope I know the answer. And it's uh this is not Willis Towers Watson. This is just my sense, no. Um this is, of course, it's trying times, but for MSM, especially yung MSMEs, no, we also have a business to protect, no. Probably we have to find a way to sustain the business in by sabi ko nga, different work arrangement. Yung mga pinresent natin kanina, look for other ways of delivering work. Some cases they'll go to the extent of restructuring, reviewing processes to be able to integrate this way of working or delivery, no. Of course, there are those na talagang kung halimbawa heavily reliant tayo sa exports, so I suppose malaki rin ang impact niyan sa business, no. So baka pwede tayong we explore some of the other options that we have presented kanina, rather than total shutdown, no. And that's the only way we can ensure we help our employees during this period. Of course, for those na talagang no way, we have to close the business. Sana meron tayong opportunity to provide support, either through in some cases, I'm not sure whether that's possible given that the business is not doing well nga, no, but separation pay, help them parang after post employment support, like career opportunity or parang orientation or something, which are things that are being done by some organizations. Medyo I understand it's really challenging, and I guess even for MSMEs, no, may hirap din sila to sustain. But if there's a way to defer or to look at other action items as we presented kanina, those might be useful. Okay. Hello.
Thank you so much, Sir Patrick. I think that was you know, people might be having an information overload right now. I think there are a lot of people might be interested to ask more questions, but unfortunately, we have exceeded the expected time. Wow, the topics are very interesting. Anyway, I would like to thank you, but to formally thank you, I would like to call in our PMAP Cebu President, Miss Grace Iligan, to do the formal thank you. Grace, take it
Hi.
away.
Yes, good afternoon once again. And good afternoon once again, Sir Patrick. Thank you so much. PMAP Cebu is so fortunate to have you this afternoon to learn all those database experience and all those informations that we can surely use in our respective organizations. So in behalf of PMAP, I would like to give you this e-certificate. Given this will be this e-certificate will be given to Mr. to Sir Patrick Marquena for his insightful conduct as a speaker of this webinar, Pushing Reset. Are you ready for the next normal? To PMAP Cebu members and other participants given this July 24, 2020, signed by yours truly, and also by Mr. Neil Antiquina, Chair for Membership Committee 2020 PMAP Cebu, as well as the Technical Director for this webinar. Again, thank you so much, Sir Patrick. In behalf of PMAP Cebu, it's our privilege to have you here this afternoon.
Daghang salamat. On behalf of Willis Towers Watson, thanks for allowing us to be part of this very important activity, and we look forward to another session like this in the future. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with us in case you need you need us to be part of your future activities.
Sure,
Maraming
sure.
salamat
We
po.
love that. We love that. Thank you, thank you. Also, I would like to give also this e-certificate to our host, Mr. Edmond Ray Palmar, for his masterful facilitation as moderator of this webinar, Pushing Reset, Are You Ready for the Next Normal? To PMAP Cebu members and other participants given this July 24, 2020, signed by yours truly, Grace Iligan, 2020 President, and also Mr. Neil Antiquina, Chair for Membership Committee 2020 PMAP Cebu, and the Technical Director for this webinar. And in behalf of PMAP Cebu also, I would like to thank everyone. And this is a challenging afternoon because we've been shifting one host to the other. We have so many technical glitch. The internet is not really cooperating, but I think everybody understand that. So again, thank you so much and a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you, Madam President. And I would also like to thank my co-host, Miss Pinky Mante. Thank you for backing me up while my internet was down. And of
Thank
course, I
you
would also
also.
like to thank, Sir Jovinir Bataycan, my friend since 1998. And I would also like to thank the following people who are supporting behind the
Sir
scenes.
Ray? Mm.
Yes.
Excuse me for a while, Sir Reha. I just don't want to forgo. I want to say thank you so much, Ma'am Ping, for catching our back. Thank you.
You're welcome anytime.
And of course, we would also like to thank Miss Ging Igual for being instrumental of having Sir Patrick also with this webinar. Miss Ging, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
everyone.
okay. In behalf of our team, would like to thank also the overall the people who are behind the scene, especially the Avengers team, the overall director, Sir Neil Antiquina, the Zoom technical master, Sir J.M. Gillis, our slides controller and speaker interface trustee, Ms. Odette Cambonga, our social media, Facebook, YouTube control monitor slash moderator, our immediate past president, Pinky Mante, the Q&A chat box monitor and participant experience monitor trustee Ayan Real and Marianne Diaparine, who also prepared the entire presentation. Again, for those who were not able to start with the webinar, you can always go to the PMAP Cebu YouTube channel and view a recording of this webinar as well as no the past webinars. Let's watch once again the video on the upcoming webinars of PMAP Cebu. Once again, on behalf of PMAP Cebu, led by President Grace Ligan, this has been your host, Ray Filnar. Thank you so much, everyone, and stay safe. Mayong hapon.